Hey, how you? The only plus size certified photographer in the world. Wanted to give you a quick tip, and maybe tell you something that you didn't know. So I shoot a ton of actor headshots, right? And one of the main features of an actor headshot is a blurred background. Why? Why? Because the casting director just needs to look at the actor's face. Doesn't need to look at anything else. So anything prominent in the background is going to distract from the image, right? I mean, it's a consensus that a soft background makes for a nicer image. Why? Because the subject pops off the image, right? Everybody knows, quote unquote, that the way to get a soft background is to have a wide open lens, right? So, like the go-to for most people because it's cheap, and it looks great. Is the Nifty 50, right? For most people, if you got a Canon or Nikon or any system, you can get you a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens. That means that the aperture of the lens opens up to 1.8, and that's pretty soft, right? And matter of fact, I'll put a link to a sponsored link to the lens in the comments, just in case you don't have one, and if you don't have one, you need one, right? So yes, you get something wide open. And the thing is, the higher up you go, like if you get an 85 one, like a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens is about $100. 85 millimeter 1.8 is like $400. 70 to 200, I don't even know if they have a 1.8. Like a 8, you're looking at 2 grand, right? So it's like, man, I mean, you want it, you need it, it's good to have, but that's a lot of money, right? There's another way that you can get a nice soft background. The other way you do that is via compression by using distance and the background. What are you talking about? All right, listen. So if you have a background that's far away from your subject and you focus on the subject, then the background is automatically going to be a little bit softer, right? To compound that, if you have a long lens, like, and I'm not saying like I used to shoot with like a 70 to 300, and that was awesome. But 70 to 200 to get the job done. But even if you just have a kit lens, right, which for most people like a 28 to 135. You rack all out to 135, right? And then you get the subject framed the way you want them. So you're zoomed in on the subject and you have a background that's far away, blurry background. And I'm talking about blurry background at like f8. That's amazing because if you do that, if you're at f8, right, and the background is blurry, the subject is sharp pretty much all the way through. Because here's the thing with shooting wide open. If you shoot at 1.8, or if you fancy, you got a 1.4 or 1.2, and you focus on the eye will be razor sharp, but the tip of the nose is probably going to be blurry. So it's like, that's tricky because you really want the whole face to be sharp. Which now, if you make the eye sharp, like straight down through here, it's gonna be sharp. So it's gonna look fine. But I love the fact that if I'm shooting with like a 70 to 200 and I got a faraway background, then that means that from the tip of the nose, maybe almost back to like the tip of the ear is gonna be razor sharp, but my background is still gonna be nice and soft. All right. So that's the one tip. That's the going the distance part. The inside out part is just one of the favorite things that I like to do. Because like I say, I shoot a ton of headshots and there's different looks. So sometimes you want an interior look where you're shooting inside and it looks like you shot it inside somewhere. But sometimes you do want an outside look. All right. So the way to get, and I live in Florida and it's hot most of the time. Like right now, it is the high is 80. It's January. So what you want to do is, if you have windows where you are, then you place the subject against the window and you shoot them, and you get two things with that. One, you get the AC, right? So it's nice and cool inside, but you have an outside background. You can light them the way you need to, do all of that, but you still get, it's comfortable. So you're comfortable, you're inside, but you like the person the way you want to, and it looks like they're outside, but they're not. I love that, you know. And the added benefit of that is the fact that, because depending on how far the background is away, but if you're inside, sometimes depending on the space you have, you may not have as much room as you want to get the distance between the subject and the background. So using the window gives you that distance depending on how far away things are, you know. So if they have a lot of space outside before there's anything that pops up in the background, then you're gonna have a nice, soft, blurry background. So that's it for today. Like I say, two ways that you can get a nice soft background. One, shooting wide open. Two, shooting with a background that's really far away from your subject and zooming all the way into your subject. All right, keep shooting. You have a good day.